Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a truth we often forget. Beauty isn't just skin deep, and youth is not confined to the number of candles on a birthday cake. We live in a world obsessed with wrinkle-free skin and perfect figures, yet the real glow, the kind that turns heads and opens hearts, comes from something much deeper. Now, the title of today's talk may surprise you. Women over 60 who take these 3 vitamins look younger and more attractive. But let me be clear, what we're really talking about is the kind of radiance that makes a woman not just look young, but feel alive, feel magnetic, feel loved. So what are these vitamins? No, they're not just in a bottle. There is nothing more attractive than a woman who owns her presence, a woman who has walked through fire, survived heartbreak, raised families, built careers, lost things, and rebuilt from scratch. That kind of woman doesn't walk into a room, she arrives. And at 60, 70, even 80, when she's taken this daily dose of confidence, her smile becomes her signature, her laughter a kind of music, her energy irresistible. Men don't fall in love with perfect skin or flawless bodies. They fall in love with how a woman makes them feel, a woman who knows how to connect emotionally, who listens deeply, who shares her soul, who doesn't try to be someone else but shows up raw, real, and open. That woman becomes unforgettable. At 60 plus, emotional intelligence becomes a superpower. It makes her not just look attractive, but be attractive. Confidence is not just a feeling, it's a presence that enters the room before a woman even speaks. When a woman carries herself with assurance, she commands attention without asking for it. She doesn't need validation to know her worth. Her smile isn't there to please others, it reflects her own inner joy. Her walk isn't hurried or uncertain, it's grounded, graceful, and deliberate. This kind of confidence is magnetic. It's the kind of energy that draws people in, not because of how she looks, but because of how she feels about herself. For women over 60, confidence becomes even more powerful. At this stage in life, she's not trying to prove anything. She has lived, loved, lost, learned, and risen again. That experience gives her a certain elegance that can't be faked or taught. She knows who she is, she knows what she brings to the table, and she no longer compromises for the sake of being accepted. That authenticity is deeply attractive. Younger women may turn heads, but a confident older woman turns hearts. She doesn't beg for attention, she becomes the attention. When a confident woman speaks, people listen, not because her voice is louder, but because her words carry weight. She speaks with clarity, rooted in a lifetime of wisdom. There's a calm in her that puts others at ease. There's a strength in her that quietly reassures. She doesn't chase approval. She offers presence. She doesn't seek to impress. She expresses herself. Confidence in this way is not a show. It's a state of being. It's not arrogance and it's not pretending. It's a woman standing firmly in the truth of who she is. In relationships, this confidence is transformational. A woman who knows her value doesn't settle for breadcrumbs of affection. She doesn't play games to win someone's interest. She doesn't manipulate or perform. She simply shows up as she is, knowing that anyone who truly sees her will recognize the treasure she is. That kind of presence shifts the dynamic in love. It attracts partners who respect, not exploit. It creates connections built on depth, not desperation. Her confidence raises the standard for how she is treated, and in doing so, invites only those who are capable of real intimacy. What's more, confidence makes her physically more radiant, posture improves, eye contact deepens, laughter flows more freely. There's an undeniable glow that comes from within, one that no skincare product can manufacture. She feels alive, and that aliveness translates into beauty. Wrinkles don't define her, her energy does. Age doesn't limit her, it amplifies her. Because a woman who is confident after 60 is not only comfortable in her skin, she is powerful in it. She becomes a living embodiment of what it means to age with grace, dignity, and undeniable allure. There's something profoundly magnetic about a woman who knows how to connect emotionally. While physical beauty may capture attention momentarily, it's the emotional depth that holds it. True connection goes far beyond skin-deep features or surface-level attraction. It reaches into the heart, the spirit, the unspoken parts of a relationship that linger long after the lights go out. A woman over 60, seasoned with life's trials and triumphs, often carries an emotional maturity that is far more compelling than fleeting youthfulness. She doesn't just listen, she hears. She doesn't just respond, she understands. This ability to make someone feel seen, heard, and valued is what creates real intimacy. Men might be initially drawn to what they see, but they stay for how they feel. Emotional connection builds trust, safety, and vulnerability, which are the cornerstones of any meaningful bond. A woman who can express her emotions with grace and hold space for someone else's without judgment becomes a source of emotional nourishment. Her presence becomes comforting. Her silence becomes peaceful, not awkward. Her words, when spoken, come from a place of intention and care. That energy, that ability to emotionally embrace someone without physical touch, is more seductive than anything worn or applied. When a woman has emotional intelligence, she can see beneath the surface. She understands the difference between anger and fear, between distance and protection. She doesn't take things personally because she's learned that most reactions are reflections, not rejections. This emotional clarity allows her to navigate relationships with patience and compassion. She knows how to build a bridge when there's conflict instead of walking away or shutting down. She understands the power of apology, of presence, of simply sitting beside someone in their struggle without needing to fix it. That is emotional connection in action, and it's beautiful. There's also a deep sensuality in emotional closeness. When a woman looks at her partner not just with her eyes but with empathy, she creates an atmosphere of warmth that no physical attraction can replicate. When she shares her vulnerabilities and invites someone into her emotional world, it creates a bond that can't be broken by time or distance. Her attractiveness becomes less about how she looks and more about how she makes someone feel in her presence, safe, understood, desired, not just for the body, but for the soul. Emotional connection also breeds emotional safety, and that's what allows love to deepen. A woman who offers emotional intimacy creates a space where authenticity thrives. There's no need to pretend or impress. Instead, there's mutual respect, honesty, and the freedom to be fully oneself. That's what draws a partner closer, again and again. Physical beauty can fade, but the memory of how someone made you feel lingers like perfume. It's the emotional resonance that echoes long after conversations end or touches stop. A woman who brings that kind of energy doesn't compete with younger beauty. She redefines what beauty is. She teaches that true attraction is not just about bodies connecting, but about hearts intertwining in moments of raw, beautiful truth. Deep self-love is not about vanity, ego, or constant self-indulgence. It's about knowing your worth without needing external approval. It's a quiet power that grows over time, especially in women who have lived through decades of change, challenge, and transformation. For a woman over 60, self-love becomes less about self-improvement and more about self-acceptance. It is the graceful understanding that she no longer has to earn her place in the world by shrinking, pleasing, or pretending. She is enough as she is, not because someone else says so, but because she knows so. When a woman practices deep self-love, she stops comparing herself to others. She no longer measures her beauty against the filtered standards of youth. She begins to honor the lines on her face as stories, the softness of her body as comfort, the gray in her hair as wisdom. Her mirror is no longer a place of judgment. It becomes a space of gratitude. She doesn't ask, "What's wrong with me?" She asks, "What do I need today?" That shift in inner dialogue creates a radiance that cannot be faked or purchased. It glows from the inside out, rooted in compassion for herself and all that she's lived through. A woman who loves herself deeply moves through the world with intention. She doesn't chase affection, she chooses alignment. She doesn't tolerate disrespect, she walks away from it without explanation. She doesn't overextend herself to be liked. She invests her energy in places that nourish her soul. This kind of clarity is beautiful. It makes her presence magnetic and calming. People feel safer around her, not because she's trying to fix or please everyone, but because her self-respect creates an energetic boundary that demands mutual respect. In relationships, self-love is what allows her to give and receive love freely without losing herself in the process. She's not seeking someone to complete her. She's inviting someone to witness her, to stand beside her, not above or below. Her love becomes a gift, not a transaction. And because she loves herself first, she isn't afraid of solitude. Her alone time is sacred, not sad. Her independence doesn't threaten a partner, it inspires them. Self-love also gives her the courage to pursue joy without guilt, whether it's dressing in what makes her feel beautiful, exploring new hobbies, setting boundaries, or simply resting without apology. These small acts of self-honoring create a life that feels good from the inside. That's where true beauty lives, not in perfection, but in authenticity, not in youth, but in wholeness. A woman who radiates deep self-love doesn't need constant compliments or reassurance because her inner dialogue already whispers, "You are worthy, you are enough." That voice becomes her power, her peace, and her presence, and that presence is unforgettable. True beauty begins when a woman stops seeking it externally and begins cultivating it internally. When she loves herself as fiercely as she has loved others, she becomes not just attractive, but captivating. Her energy speaks before her words do. Her essence lingers longer than her appearance. And in that self-love, she finds not just beauty, but freedom. We've been taught for far too long that aging is something to fight, to hide, or to fear. The beauty industry sells us creams, serums, and procedures promising to erase time, but the real secret, the one that makes a woman truly glow, can't be bought in a bottle. It lives within. Inner qualities like kindness, wisdom, grace, passion, empathy, and confidence have become the new standard of timeless beauty. These are not just traits that make a woman good. They make her unforgettable. They soften the world around her. They make her presence nourishing, magnetic, and ageless in a way that has nothing to do with appearance. A woman over 60 who has cultivated these inner qualities doesn't chase youth because she embodies something even more powerful. She holds an energy that draws others in, not because she looks younger, but because she feels alive. Her laughter is more genuine. Her conversations are richer. Her emotions are rooted, not reactive. She listens with presence and speaks with intention. This emotional depth is a kind of beauty that transcends wrinkles or age spots. It's a beauty that settles into the bones, into the way she carries herself, into the way she touches others' lives with her presence. When a woman leads with her inner light, she becomes the kind of beauty people remember long after they forget the details of her face. She is graceful, but not fragile. She is strong, but not hard. She has nothing to prove, no competition to win, no image to maintain. That freedom allows her to focus on more meaningful things: connection, purpose, joy. She begins to care less about how she looks and more about how she feels, and that shift makes her more radiant than ever. Her skin may carry the evidence of time, but her spirit feels youthful because it is aligned with truth. Inner beauty is also what makes aging something to celebrate rather than mourn. Each year brings more clarity, more resilience, and more self-respect. A woman who invests in her inner world glows from the inside out. Her compassion becomes visible in her eyes. Her joy becomes audible in her voice. Her strength becomes felt in the way she shows up during hard moments. These things don't fade with time, they grow, and the people around her feel that growth, drawn to her like warmth in the cold. She becomes not just someone people admire, but someone they trust, someone they want to be close to.